Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome back to another pair of rounds in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. I'm, of course, Chaz Draycott, and we are here at the beautiful Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit using a lesser scene layout of this track. A lot of the time when you see drivers racing here on iRacing, they're using what is called the BESWEC, i.e. Blank Pan Endurance Series World Endurance Championship layout, which has a much shallower, faster chicane. But here tonight, we have none of that. We're using the big boy chicane, as I like to call it. Now, I've been having an issue with the overlay doing that, so we're going to wait for it to go away. There we go. And then we're going to show you the championship standings, because Maciej Sakovic is an absolute light year away from everybody else at the moment. A 65-point lead for Maciej means that he could just not bother turning up to a race meeting, have his nearest rival Stephen King score maximum points, that is pole position, and then win both races, and he would still have a 10-point lead in the championship. Maciej absolutely dominating at the moment. Stephen King and Jack Johns both doing really well though, despite not having a win. Danny Alpha Henriksen holds on to 4th place, just ahead of Ben Bennyworth, who's doing very well with his teammate Morgan Butler in 6th. In the team standings, it's Team Mood Springs with 257 points, 52 clear of Blade Speed Esports. Abruzzi Raceware 10 points behind them in 3rd, and then everybody else is separated by minimal amounts. But as you can see, even in the Drivers' Championship there, it is very, very close indeed. So, drivers out on track at the moment. Championship leader Maciej Sakovic is currently in 5th position as things stand. Just making his way around what I think is the awful section of this circuit. I really don't like the newer Grand Prix circuit that they've made here at the Nurburgring. It's very difficult to drive. A wonderful glowing circuit though tonight. We're in the late afternoon setting here on iRacing. So it will be getting darker and darker. Michael Blake, he's a driver that's been going quite strong recently. He's had a good turnaround in his pace, but not a good turnaround in terms of his luck, unfortunately. Michael's a very unlucky driver from what I've seen when I've spent a lot of time commentating on him. He's 117 points off Sakovic in the championship at the moment, but he's 8th, which tells you just how far ahead Maciej is. Mikey Doble back with us after his most successful weekend ever in real-world motorsport. He's been going really, really well as Mikey. He's been racing in the BMW Compact Cup and the Ginetta GT5 Challenge this year. It's great to see Mikey going well. He's a lovely lad. And a very, very quick one at that. We have the Ocean Racing Technology cars, Scott Malcolm and Michael Ellett back with us tonight as well. But fastest at the moment is Jack Johns in the number 12 machine. His teammate Stephen King currently 4th in the session. And Mats Borg Andersen is 2nd. Now, Mats has been so quick in any practice and qualifying session, but he's just not been able to convert the race results, unfortunately, when it comes to it on the night. I'm trying to see what his best race result is. To be fair, he's only done 4 races with us. His best result is actually 5th place, but other than that, he was never any higher than 8th position, so he's probably hoping to turn that around tonight. Another apology on my behalf again for stream quality issues. While my internet seems to have been a lot more stable and hasn't been disconnecting every hour, it's just got slower, basically, and we're barely getting 5 megabytes up at the moment, so I'm using about 4 of that. So if there is a drop in quality, I do apologise, but I've changed a lot of latency and other settings on YouTube, so maybe that may help. There's no motion blur either, so the car should look nice and crisp. Or I think the motion blur's off anyway. It should be. Let's check, shall we? You'll see this live on air. So this is how you do the motion blur in iRacing. Yeah, motion blur is off. And, yeah, off. There you go. You can tell now it's definitely off. There you go. There was a quick lesson there in how to turn motion blur off in iRacing. Certainly helps your frame rate as well. I'll tell you that for free. Wasn't sure if you could see my mouse for any of that, but oh well. Zach Gould is back with us tonight. But never mind the silver car he's driving, he'll be hoping to go for gold, especially while the Olympics is on. In the number 26 Dragonfly competition car. He's faster than his teammate Tim Cox at the moment. In the championship, Tim is 23rd with 20 points. Zach got 7 points out of his first race meeting with us back at Zolder a few weeks ago. We unfortunately do not have Rob Lundgren with us tonight, nor do we have Craig Cameron either of Cross Development, but we do have his teammate Craig Schill. Championship regular, I should say, is Craig. Another really nice guy to have in the series. Donny Henriksen back with us. He had a nightmare at Spa, did Donny. I believe he had an incident and then a disconnect. So he's another driver hoping for some better fortunes this evening. We should probably take you on a lap of this place, shouldn't we, really? We'll go on board with Craig Schill. This is just crossing the line now. Down the straight into the very, very tight turn 1. Hear him all the way down the gears. It's almost blind as you go into there. Into the Mercedes arena, which is this whole section here. Turn 2 along left, turn 3 along left. Again, you want to take quite an early apex here. Try and hug the inside. Get the car over as much to the left as you dare with a little right kink at turn 4. Use a lot of the runoff and the spare road on the left. Down towards turn 5, which is a very quick left-hander. Almost a blind apex on the way in, which sets you up for forward curve. Important to get a good run down here as well, down towards the Dunlop care. Look at the speed this car picks up as it goes downhill there, hard onto the brakes. You can see how much it moves around on said brakes as well. And then again, important to get a good run up towards the Schumacher S's, a very difficult part of the track to get right. As you can see, Craig having to put a lot of lock on there as he goes through the left and the right. Car understeering madly. This is called the RTL curve. And into the Vorsteiner curve. Again, another corner that's very important to get right for a good run down the hill. A bit late on the upshift there from Craig. Now this is the chicane. You'll see just how tight this is compared to the faster one that goes a little bit straight on there in front of us. Expect some big sends down there tonight. That's the NGK chicane. And then into the final corner, turn 15. Hug the inside, don't hit the end of the pit wall. Trust me, it's easier said than done sometimes, but some people find it's the other way around. It's easier done than said. But across the line goes Craig Schill. He's 13th at the moment on a 2:07.5. Only 1.7 seconds off though, and on a lap that's 2 minutes long, that's not bad going really. Sakovic is the highest placed driver that is currently on track at the moment, anyway, in 5th place. Jack Johns, Mats Borg Anderson, Morgan Butler and Stephen King all still sat in the pit lane. 17 cars tonight out of the 30 that signed up for the championship, so it's a little bit disappointing to have nearly half of the grid not here, but there are a number of drivers that aren't here for, you know, perfectly justified reasons. Real life does come first, but this will unfortunately be the smallest grid we've had this season. Before that it was the 19 cars that we saw at Zandvoort. But some good news for these drivers, the ones that turn up, is the fact that you get points down to 16th position in this championship. So as long as you're not last, you'll get some points. Or at least 1 point. Majek comes out of the final corner once again, powers across the line. Now this is only practice, so the times don't really count for much other than bragging rights. It's 2:07.004 for Majek's 4/10 off his best. Here's Mikey Doble being chased down by Tim Cox. He's got Zach Gould, actually it's Carl Jacquelet ahead of him. Doble goes 4th at 2:06.5. Good time by Mikey. Really good time indeed in the number 25 DNA Motorsport car. His teammate John Roberts, unfortunately, not here this evening. The drivers now prepare for the session to end. Tim Cox just pulls the car over to one side. Here's Donny Henriksen making his way into the Dunlop hairpin. You can see the amount of camber this corner has. It's pretty much flat to the camera when they get halfway around it. We've got Carl Jacquelet going off the road. Not quite sure where he's pulled off, but he's decided to call it a day for this session. And we're just about to tick down now into the final seconds before we get into the 15-minute qualifying session for round 11 of the championship. Oh, excuse me, Magic. Now then, one thing to remember here with this qualifying session is that for race 1, the top 12 are reversed. So if you qualify fastest, you will start 12th on the grid. But in return for that, you get championship points. So if you qualify fastest, you get 5 championship points. You qualify second, you get 4. Qualify third, you get 3. Qualify fourth, you get 2. And qualify in 5th place, and you get 1 championship point. So there is an incentive for these drivers to go out there. The maximum points you can get from a race meeting is 55. You get 25 for a race win. So 2 of those and 5 points for pole position. Gives you a nice tasty figure of 55. So you will still see drivers going for it here, even though you think, well, why didn't you just hold on to 12th spot and end up on the front row? Not everybody does that. Some of the drivers have some really good pace and can qualify fastest. And I'd expect, to be honest, Jack Johns, who Mats Borg Anderson has mentioned in the chat, has said, can we just say GG to Jack? He's way too fast today. Great to see Jack going well here. He's a commentary colleague of mine is Jack Johns. Really nice guy, known online as The Racing Line. Commentates and organises his own series as well with the likes of his teammate Stephen King. Now, they didn't actually choose to be together in this championship. It was a random draw at the very start, but look at it that these two are pulled out of the hat as teammates. And they've been doing very well, like I say, leading the team's championship at the moment by quite a long shot as well. 52 points over Blade Speed Esports, which is made up of Magic Sakovic and Victor Oliveira. Victor Oliveira only has 6 of the 205 that Blade Speed have accomplished so far this season. But Stephen and Jack are both 2nd and 3rd in the championship, but neither of them have won a race yet. Maybe that'll change today. We've got John Bailiff back with us as well. Great to see John back. He got his first win in the championship last time out. He's going to be hoping to repeat that this evening where possible. I'm not sure about you, but it doesn't look like the spec map's working on that car properly to me. It's supposed to have a matte black front end, I think. But oh well. We'll go with it. Michael Ellett is just in front of him on track as well in car 48. That's the Ocean Racing Technology machine. Currently, Michael is 25th in the championship, 17 points. His teammate Scott Malcolm is 13th with 56 points. Very shiny car as well, the Ocean Racing Technology machine. Now we've got purple sectors from multiple drivers. Magic Sakovic went purple in Sector 1, Michael Blake in Sector 2, Carl Jacquelet in Sector 3, Sector 4 was Ben Bennyworth, and then Sector 5 was Stephen King. But they were on the opening laps for these guys. Now Ben Bennyworth, seemingly not in the right livery, which is a very odd one. A very odd one indeed. If you bear with me then, I'll get those updated. And we should have them sorted out now. So they will be white for a moment. Solid white liveries, but you'll get the hint in a moment. Morgan Butler, the only car not out on track at the moment. Yeah, still something not working there for Ben Bennyworth. The spec map is definitely working, but not the livery. That's very odd, isn't it? Oh well, we'll see. Jack Johns currently fastest by almost 0.4 of a second over his teammate. Doesn't seem like Ben's livery is in the folder for some reason. That's really odd, isn't it? Let's try that again. Sorry about that, everyone. You know how temperamental iRacing paints can be. I mean, I've done a number of videos on them, so I should by now. But it's a 1-2 at the moment for Team Mood Springs. Sakovic third at the moment, half a second off Jack. And then it's Carl Jacquelet, doing really well for 5-a-day racing. His teammate Kieran Dempsey unable to make it tonight as well. Kieran's another one that's been incredibly fast. But Carl is one of those drivers that's always improving. He's got quicker and quicker in the time that I've been commentating on him. Now there we go, that's proper, isn't it, for Ben Bennyworth. That's the right livery. We'll have a quick look at John Bailiff as well. And yes, the front end is now matte, and the dots down the side are now chrome. Not quite sure what was causing that issue, but maybe trading paints had got rid of some stuff. Mats Borg Anderson splits the two Team Mood Springs cars and goes second fastest. Great stuff for Mats. Good job. Mikey Doble hasn't put a time on the board yet. Jack Johns and Stephen King both entering the pit lane. What's Mikey done sector-wise so far? He's not really set anything alight on this one. It's not an outlap. Henriksen and Bennyworth go 9th and 10th. Currently it's Michael Ellett that will get reversed onto pole position for the sprint race. Sprint race is roughly 15 minutes. It's going to be 6 laps around here. The feature race is roughly 25 minutes to half an hour. So it's going to be 11 laps around here. Malcolm goes 13th. That's just a banker lap for him. 3.2 seconds off. We know he can do better than that. Here's Mikey Doble. He's gone green in the last 2 sectors, but the time does not count. So he must have had an off in his first one. And that may have been an outlap for him. Let's see if he can improve from there. John Bailiff about to come across the line. Where does he get to? He was 7th. Stays there by the look of it. Michael Blake is just ahead of him in 6th position. With what looks like the wrong spec map on it. Brilliant. I will sort that out, just while I've got a second. And Mike's actually decided to pull the car over. We'll give it another refresh on the liveries for you. Craig Schill still not put a time on the board yet, unfortunately. He's back into the Dunlop hairpin, as the timing has a bit of a refresh as well. There we go, Michael's car back to the way it should be now, with the very fluorescent yellow all over it. Zach Gould has just had a bit of a moment and got going again. Ben Bennyworth is on his way into the pits. Number of drivers on their outlaps. Now don't forget, because we're using the heat racing system here, in this championship. As soon as the session hits its maximum time, as soon as it hits the 15 minutes, it is over. There's no waiting around for people to finish their laps or anything of that sort. As soon as it hits 15 minutes, that's it, you're done. Doble goes 6th, 206.7. He's only a couple of thousandths off Jacquelet, really. It's Zach Gould now that we're looking at here, who is 12th and on his way to pole position, effectively. But it's Jack Johns that is the fastest and heading towards 5 championship points for his troubles. Now, the driver with the most points from qualifying so far this season is actually Morgan Butler. He's got 15 points from qualifying. Maciej Sakovic has 11. Jack Johns has 10. And Michael Blake also has 10. So some drivers really getting their fair share of points out of qualifying and showing their pace. It's a nice little bit of a boast for them. Morgan Butler, though, no laps on the board yet for Morgan. Not quite sure what's happened, but hopefully he's still able to take part. Just checking in with him to see if everything's okay. Because he was in practice, so we'll have to see whether he can get back on. Stephen King on for 3 championship points at the moment. Maciej Sakovic on for just 2. Stephen King, to be fair, has only 5 points from qualifying so far this season. He has a 2nd place and a 3rd place as his 2 best race results. His teammate Jack Johns has had 2 podiums all season. There's only been 3 races this season where Maciej Sakovic hasn't been on the podium. And they were both races at Brands Hatch and one of the races last time out at Spa Francorchamps. We've not seen Ben Kriener for a long time as well in the championship, I'm afraid. Teammate of Mats Borg Anderson. It doesn't look like we're going to see Morgan for the rest of the evening, unfortunately. He's having pain in his back due to an issue with his seat at the moment, I'm afraid. So that's a real shame. Hope you're alright, Morgan. We continue to watch Stephen King, though. Mark Woodhouse has made his way up into 4th position, 4 tenths off the fastest time. And it's now Ben Bennyworth that sits in the golden seat to be reversed onto pole. But will he stay there? That's the risk, you see. Some drivers, we've seen it before, will end up being in 12th in qualifying near the end, and then they'll back out and not put a time in. And then they'll get knocked down 1 spot, which means rather than starting 1st, they'll start 13th. Michael Blake moves up a position. He goes to 6th overall, though that's not a championship point scoring position for him. Maciej Sakovic is on his way to just 1 point. Now, Donnie Henriksen will be quite near the front of this reverse grid if he stays where he is. Now, nobody else will be able to get a lap in yet, so whoever has just started a lap, which I believe is Sakovic, he's going to be the last car to cross the line here. Donnie Henriksen will not get a lap in time. It's certainly just going to be Maciej that gets one in, and that's it. Mikey Doble crosses the line. Doesn't improve. He stays 8th fastest. Michael Blake's gone off the road and decides to call it a day with that lap. Unfortunately, not getting into the points. Can Sakovic improve then? He's not improved in Sector 1 or Sector 2. This track is split into 5 sectors on iRacing. Keep our eye on for any improvements. Bennyworth does not improve, a 208.2, so he will be 12th. Schill goes up to 14th with a 208.5. Still no improvement by Maciej Sakovic. And that's going to be an incident point and a ruined lap for Maciej. And the end of his session with that one. Michael Elliott goes up to 13th, or actually he improves in 13th. He improves on his time. Some of the drivers doing practice starts there. That's Carl Jacquelet doing one of them as well. Jack Johns just trying to give it a move as well across the line. Or off the line, I should say. But it looks like he's going to be our pole position man. Well, at least theoretically, he's going to start 12th on the grid, isn't he? But looks like Ben Bennyworth is going to be the man to take that one. So the session comes to an end. There's just 3 seconds of it left, and the cars should disappear now, and there they do go. So, let's check out our first grid of the evening then. Ben Bennyworth takes pole position ahead of Zach Gould. Good to see him on the front row. Then it's Donnie Henriksen, I should say, alongside John Bailiff. Mikey Doble will start 5th, with Carl Jacquelet in 6th place. It's then Michael Blake and Maciej Sakovic, car 8P8. He gets 1 point. Woodhouse gets 2 points in 9th. Stephen King gets 3 points in 10th. Mats Borg Andersen, more impressive qualifying from him. Qualified 2nd fastest, gets 4 points for his trouble. And Jack Johns, qualified fastest, but will start in 12th. Michael Elliott will then be 13th ahead of Craig Schill. Tim Cox is going to be 15th, and Scott Malcolm will be the last car on the grid, as Morgan Butler, unfortunately, will not be taking part in the race. So, 6 laps in this sprint race. Doesn't sound like very long. And it won't be for the drivers. We've got a few cars that just quite aren't on the grid yet. Donnie Henriksen there. Mark Woodhouse just off to the right of Stephen King there. Now you can see Jack Johns just behind him. Fastest in qualifying. Keep an eye on some of these guys near the front for really lightning fast starts, because some of them have absolutely nailed the starts recently. And it can be a make or break situation. Turn 1 is going to be a bit of a mess, I predict. It's a very, very tight corner with a very interesting braking zone, but we will have to see. We're just waiting for Mark Woodhouse now to make it onto the grid. He's going to be on Stephen King's left. I correct myself from saying Stephen King's right. There he is. And the lights will come on any moment now then. So, round 11 of the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship from the Nurburgring is away. Wheel spin for days from Ben Bennyworth, and look at Donnie Henriksen. Goodbye, son. Donnie Henriksen flies off the line. Mikey Doble gets a good one as well. How are they going to find it filtering down into turn 1? Jacquelet is late on the brakes into Doble. There's a bit more argy-bargy in the middle. Jacquelet's running wide, side by side with Sakovic. Doble and Blake having a little bit of a touch as well. Zach Gould has been hit by John Bailiff. He's also getting a bit argy-bargy in there too. Bailiff a little bit later on the brakes than Gould down the inside. They're 3 wide. Manages to avoid further contact. Looks like everybody actually doing a sterling effort of that so far. Stephen King is right in the thick of it with plenty to look at in front of him. Oh, we've got cars off further back. Craig Schill's around and in the wall. And Ben Bennyworth's off. Ben Bennyworth got into the lead ahead of Donnie Henriksen for just a moment there, and he's gone off. Bouncing down back onto the circuit. But Donnie Henriksen leads the race. Now what can Blake do about it? He wants to make the move as soon as possible. Doble goes down the inside. Oh, Blake closes the door on him. Gets contact as a result. And now that's ruined Doble's run up the hill through the Schumacher S's. That's exactly what Donnie Henriksen needs. Donnie needs a good turnaround because he won one of the races at Zandvoort. He won the feature race there. Look at this, Doble very aggressive down the inside on Blake. Sakovic is going to go around the outside now. That's going to become the inside for the next corner. What about Jacquelet in there as well? Is he going to get the better of Mikey Doble? Great stuff from Maciej Sakovic. Further back, Jack Johns and Tim Cox having a bit of a fight. Mark Woodhouse is stuck in that too. Oh, Mark, no. Oh, Tim's over and in the wall. I'll tell you what, he's become a bit of a specialist for big accidents this season as Tim. But that was totally on Mark, if you ask me. Now, Donnie Henriksen's overdone it at the chicane. Where is Michael Blake? Where is Sakovic? He's right behind him. The queue up then at the end of lap 1. Zach Gould hanging on to the back of this. Then there's a gap back to Jack Johns. A lively first lap. Let's have a quick look then at what happened to Michael Elliott and Craig Schill. Oh, they just ran out of room on the left. Oh, scary stuff there between the two teammates. Now, Bennyworth was already off at that point, so I want to see what happened to him. Side by side with Donnie Henriksen. Oh, he's got a bit too quick into the left, trying to go around the outside and clips the grass. Mark Woodhouse went off the road already at this point. Whoa, John Bailiff has hit the grass on the outside. And he's had a nightmare. These guys all come through. Tim Cox goes down the inside. Mark Woodhouse doesn't see him. There's contact there. Oh, that was earlier on in the lap. Apologies. Then there was the contact after this. So I think Tim got a tap on him, and then Mark just drilled into the back of him, unfortunately, and it's a huge hit for Tim. Now Michael Blake has taken the lead of the race. Michael Blake has overtaken Donnie Henriksen, who has dropped down loads. Oh, he's had to serve the slowdown penalty, hasn't he? Oh, and at the end of the first lap as well. Blake leads the race. Donnie Henriksen now down in 7th position. Blake under attack from the ever-fast Sakovic, and Majek's outdone him. Majek has scared Michael Blake off the circuit, and Sakovic is back in the lead again. The championship leader by a considerable margin already has made his way to the front of the field from 8th on the grid. It's incredible stuff. Can anybody stop him? Previous BSR Kia Club Series champion. The very first Kia Club Series champion. That's a lovely move by Mats Borg Anderson down the inside of Carl Jacquelet, but he hits too much curb. Oh, very close to contact there afterwards as well. Just behind him, Zach Gould is side by side with Donnie Henriksen and Jack Johns on the inside. Zach has to turn in at some point. Donnie's there. He gets hit by Jack, but somehow comes out on top of all that. Now Zach Gould has got the run. But further up, Carl Jacquelet's under pressure from Mats Borg Anderson. Anderson down the inside, very late on the brakes. Oh, Carl's just turned into the side of him. There's no other way of describing it. Carl just turns in on him now. Everyone else needs to avoid. Donnie Henriksen's gone in too hot. Jack Johns has overtaken all of them. Brilliant stuff from Jack Johns. Goes up into 4th place. Zach Gould tries to cover off Jacquelet. Doors him. And again, more hip check. You got Donnie Henriksen in there as well. Stephen King just off the back of this. Stephen King's got a fantastic view of this. So much bumping and boring between all of them, but they still manage to continue. Henriksen down the inside of Gould. Stephen King tries it as well. Zach's a lot slower than him in the apex of the corner. Stephen needs to just leave a little bit more room. There's more touching. So friendly, all these drivers. Great racing once again, though. So much entertainment from every single one of them. John Bailiff is just behind this with Ben Bennyworth behind. Tim Cox has continued. He's got a brand new car and gone back out there. He's very much on his own in the field, but he's still out there because he knows he can at least get points for this. All you have to do is finish the race now that we don't have Morgan Butler on the grid. Doble has got past Blake, by the way, for P2. Let's have a look where he did this. Michael's gone in a little bit too hot. And then, oh, lovely, lovely switchback from Doble. You could argue it was a little bit forceful with the contact, but that was great stuff. Great opportunism. Now, what are these guys going to get up to? They're going into a very tight chicane. It's Jacquelet down the inside of Henriksen. Oh, Henriksen 2 wheels over the curb. Jacquelet muscles him out of the way, says, get off. None of that. Bailiff's off on the grass. He tried to go around Zach Gould there, I believe, for a second. But for the lead, Sakovic and Doble. Sakovic runs him all the way over to the wall. It's gutsy stuff. Brutal defending from Maciej Sakovic. Doble turns in, gets to the apex a little bit sooner. Still nothing doing there, though. Michael Blake will be pretty happy to still be in 3rd place after all that argy-bargy earlier on. But Doble is looking for a race win. Like I said, he had his best real-world racing weekend just gone. He's had a lot of success in the Ginetta GT5 Challenge and the BMW Compact Cup. But now he smells blood in the water here, with Sakovic just in front and not getting away. We're on lap 4 out of 6 already. It's gone very quickly indeed. We have a 10-minute break between races, and then we have the almost half-hour-long feature race with a mandatory pit stop where drivers have to take 2 tyres, and the fuel will not get them to the end, so they do have to refuel. Doble looks down the inside. Sakovic has seen it all before. He's not too worried about that at this stage, but Michael Blake is holding on well as well. No. When the cars get the slightest bit of damage at the front, that happens. It's really annoying. But Michael just keeping his head at this point. He's just watching what the cars in front are doing, and what the cars in front are doing is going off the road. Sakovic goes very wide. Doble sticks his nose back down the inside, leaves it up to Majek to decide whether they're going to have an accident or not. Slots back in behind. Majek used that wider line to get a good run. Pushing him all the way down to the chicane. Needs to be careful on the brakes, not to drill him. Look at that, Blake really closed up there. He looks down the inside, and now here comes Jack Johns. Oh, there's contact, and Sakovic is around. It's a very similar incident to what we saw with Jack Johns at Zolder, but Michael Blake has taken the race lead. Wow, oh wow. Well, let's have a look at it again. Sakovic went in very slowly. Very slowly. That was a lot slower than we'd seen him do it before. And then Jack Johns went one way, then the other, held it up for the incident a little bit, and through he went. That's a real shame for Majek. But that was almost a carbon copy of what we saw at Zolder, like I said, with Jack Johns leading the race. Jack went very slowly through the chicane. Majek tried to carry his normal line and put him off the road. Now Majek down in 13th position. That's really harmed his evening, to say the least. Jack Johns up into 2nd, looking for his first race win of the season. None of these guys in this top 4 have won a race this season, actually. So we could see another first-time winner here in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. We've had 6 different race winners so far from 10 races. And only 2 drivers have won more than one. Ben Kriener has won 2 races. Majek Sakovic has won 4. There's a number of other drivers that have won 1 each. Donnie Henriksen, Morgan Butler, John Bailiff and Mark Woodhouse. Look at that from Donnie Henriksen. Great pressure here on Carl Jacquelet. Trying to break down the barrier. Stephen King, he's gained 3 places from where he started, but he's not had the most lively of races so far. He's certainly had a lot going on in front of him. He's not really been involved in all of it. Doble is attacking Jack Johns a little bit further up. We will come back to this, though, because they're still side by side into the chicane. Donnie's brave. Oh, he's very brave around the outside. Great stuff. Absolutely lovely stuff by Donnie Henriksen. Carl Jacquelet now defending from Stephen King and attacking Donnie Henriksen. He turns in. Stephen's there. And Stephen gains the place. Nothing untoward there from what I saw, but we'll have to see. Final lap of the race then. Michael Blake leads the way for Simortal as a partner of the championship. He'll be really pleased to pull this one off. I'll tell you what, we ought to actually have the sponsors in the top right of the screen. Oh, down the inside goes Doble on Johns. The 2 of them nearly making contact. Look at this now. They're absolutely sending it after Michael Blake, but Michael looks like he's got a nice enough advantage at this point to get away. Not sure how long that's going to stay for, though. It's very even between these 3, actually, gap-wise. It does keep fluctuating, but only the tiniest bit. Look at Doble there. So fast. Up to the back of Jack Johns, gives him a bit of a tap. That's not going to help either of them. Continues to just give him a bit of a love tap and a bit of a push down towards Dunlop. Hangs off the back of him, down the inside. Tries to go later on the brakes, doesn't work for him. Johns hugs the apex very contently, but look at Michael Blake now Opens up that gap a little bit more. Just needs to get the Schumacher S right, and then that next chicane, and he should be home and safe. John's having to defend from Doble. Neither of them want this to end in tears. Neither does Mats Borg Andersen, because he's gained 7 places from 11th on the grid. Him and Jack have both had a fantastic drive so far. Oh, Doble finds a gap. It closes very quickly, and luckily he doesn't make contact. But Michael Blake leads them on the final lap. Into the last chicane for the final time then. The NGK chicane. Taking it nice and steady is Michael Blake. Looks like Jack John's winning a bit too hot. Kissed some of the curb. He has to come over to defend from Mikey Doble. Almost looks like an offensive move down the inside. One more tap from Mikey Doble, but in front of them, it's going to be Michael Blake that takes round 11 of the championship. He will be so over the moon with that. Great performance by Jack Johns and Mikey Doble. Mats Borg Andersen gains 4th, and Stephen King just beats Donnie Henriksen to 5th place. Carl Jacquelet 7th. Zach Gould gets 8th. Great performance by Zach. Ben Bennyworth finishes 9th. John Bailiff rounds out your 10, and Sakovic is 11th. But Michael Blake, oh, that's been a long time coming. That has been a long time coming. He will be overjoyed with that. Great defensive work and great attacking from Jack Johns as well. He really put in a strong effort there for his championship all the way through. Behind Maciej Sakovic we had Scott Malcolm, Michael Elliott, Mark Woodhouse, Craig Schill and Tim Cox rounding out the field. Everybody that started that race finished it. But there you are. Simmortal series partner, good friend of mine, Michael Blake, will be beaming from ear to ear after taking his very first win in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. We're still actually waiting for Tim Cox to finish the race. He isn't a complete lap down on the field at this point, I don't think. So we'll give him some time to finish his lap, and then we will have the full results. Mats Borg Andersen was really strong in that one as well. I was saying earlier, wasn't I, that his qualifying performance has been phenomenal, but in his races he's just not been able to turn it around. But this time he really did. Tim Cox comes to the line and concludes the roster for round 11. So then, let's get us some results, shall we? Or at least try to. There you go. Michael Blake takes his first win in the championship. Jack Johns gets his best result in 2nd place this season. Mikey Doble gets 3rd ahead of Mats Borg Andersen, and Stephen King rises up to 5th position. Donnie Henriksen was 6th. Carl Jacquelet in 7th. Zach Gould, great 8th place. You may say, yeah, he started on the front row though, but still, to hold on and stay in the top 10, really good job. Ben Bennyworth finishes 9th ahead of John Bailiff, with Maciej Sakovic down in 11th. Keep an eye on Maciej in this feature race. Scott Malcolm is 12th ahead of his teammate Michael Elliott in 13th. Then it was Mark Woodhouse 14th, Craig Schill in 15th, and Tim Cox, the last car to cross the line. Now, I've just said keep an eye on Maciej. He's instantly gone back out there to get some more time on circuit. The conditions will be getting cooler and cooler as the evening goes on. So the track may be developing in ways that the drivers may not want. But we'll have to see. Now the cameras are trying to look at Morgan Butler here for a second, but I'm not quite sure if they don't know that he's not with us in this race. Either way, I'm just going to take a quick break. Just need to go and get another drink and just get something behind the scenes sorted here with one of the files. It seems to be causing an issue, but I'll be right back with you. Thank you. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. Round 12 is just around the corner, and just going round a corner is Michael Blake, who'd won the first race of the evening. His first win in the championship, and a very well-deserved one at that. Now, there was the controversial moment between Mikey Doble and Maciej Sakovic, which of course will get looked at after the proceedings this evening, but it looked like a very reminiscent incident to what we saw at Zolder a few weeks ago, where Jack Johns was in the lead of the race, went a little bit too hot into the chicane, and in the crossover of the chicane just got clipped. Just got clipped by Maciej as he went through the corner, tipped the car around, and these things are not really easy to save once they go that far around. And unfortunately, Maciej was punted out of the lead. Doble would go on to finish in third behind Jack Johns. So Maciej's got some work to do in this second race, that's for sure. But if there's any driver that can do it, we know that Maciej is the man to do it. Leads the championship coming into this race meeting by 65 points. And just to put that into perspective, you get 25 for a race win. So he's got a very, very handy gap. This is Craig Schill, just driving around the part of the circuit where the sun can't decide whether it's in or out. Craig sitting 19th in the championship with 35 points before this race meeting. Now don't forget, all you have to do is finish the races tonight to score points. There's 16 drivers taking to the circuit, and you get points all the way down to 16th position. Please do say hello in the YouTube chat. Let us know what you think of the first race and the action that we're having so far this evening, and who your money is on for the second race. So the grid for race 2 is going to be the finishing order from race 1. No reversing or anything like that. It's roughly a 25-minute to half-hour race with a mandatory pit stop where drivers must take 2 tyres. So there is a pit stop to shake things up. Drivers can get it wrong. They can put too much fuel in. They can take 4 tyres and risk having longer in the pits in exchange for a little bit more pace at the end, because we've heard a lot of drivers actually this season taking all 4 tyres because the rear end is so unstable when the fronts are completely fresh and the rears have been worn out a little bit. A lot of the brake bias in this car is very rearward, so the rear tyres run really hot as it transfers the heat through the rim into the tyre. Joachim Gulbranson in the YouTube chat. Hello. Hello indeed, my friend. We will be trying to get you into the series at some point, Joachim, I promise you. Be good to see you on the grid. Right then, session's about to come to an end, and Craig Schill's car is about to disappear. Like, now. No? Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Boop. Well, I tried. Alright? Right then, grid for race 2. Michael Blake, pole position. Jack Johns alongside him. Definitely the fastest man here tonight, Jack Johns. Mikey Doble, third, ahead of Mats Borg Anderson. Stephen King and Donnie Henriksen make up row 3. Then it's Carl Jackalette and Zach Gould. Ben Bennyworth and John Bailiff round out your top 10, ahead of Maciej Sakovic and Scott Malcolm. We then have Michael Ellett and Mark Woodhouse, with Craig Schill 15th, Tim Cox 16th. Morgan Butler will not be taking to the grid. Now, the man that got a really good start in that first race was Donnie Henriksen, and he's going to be starting car 66 in P6. And when he jumps onto the grid, there, we'll keep an eye on him. Just keep an eye out for that red car coming through, up a couple of places at the very beginning. Pressure's on Michael Blake now, though. He's got a win under his belt. Can he get another one? Jack Johns starting alongside him is always quick. Maciej Sakovic will start 11th. And interestingly, Maciej is starting from the pits. Very, very interesting. So round 12 then of the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship is underway. Look at Michael go. Goodbye. Wow. He is absolutely bolted. Donnie Henriksen does get a good start. Mats Borg Anderson gets one as well. But wow. Michael Blake absolutely bolted there. It was like someone got him with a cattle prod. Oh, there's argy-bargy. Zach Gould around. Zach Gould has been turned. Craig Shill's had an issue. I think Scott Malcolm potentially involved in that as well. Magic Sakovic does start from the pit lane, so it's not like he missed the start by accident. Looks like he's done that as a purposeful move. Carl Jacquelet very close to Stephen King there. Mats Borg Anderson just disconnecting for a second, but reappearing down the inside of Michael Blake as well in that fight for the lead. You can see the circuit nice and golden now. Big yellow sheen on the cars as it gets darker here at the Nurburgring. Very pretty lighting. Let's hope the shadows don't do some of their mad stuff that they do on iRacing sometimes. Either way, the whole field filtering their way down towards Dunlop for the first time. Doble chucks it up the inside of Donny Henriksen. Nearly contact. I think there was a little bit of a rub mid-corner. Oh, Donny moves over to the right a bit. He's not going to give Mikey an inch here. Side by side through the Schumacher S. That's brave. Or is it? Whoa, bit of contact. Donny sideways. Very sideways. They tried to make it work. Unfortunately, it didn't, and Donny Henriksen loses out. Now, what can he do about Carl Jacquelet? Round the outside, Stephen King down the inside. Whoa, hello. That was lively. John Bailiff watching on, thinking, oh my goodness, what have I got involved with? Ben Bennyworth, he didn't really make too many strides in that first race, unfortunately. Finds himself still ninth. Mats Borg Anderson's gone to the front. Michael Blake's gone off the circuit. Not quite sure what on earth has happened there. Now Jack Johns is trying to go around the outside. Oh, there still needs to be room on the exit. And now Jack's going to go up in second place, surely, on that inside line. Oh, Michael gives him a bit of a kiss. Then Doble comes through down the inside as well. Doble tries to go across the front, and he does, up into third place. Feisty stuff from Mikey. What happened to Michael Blake then? Oh, he's just run wide. Just run wide through the right-hander. Nearly loses it. Oh, Zach Gould's had an issue on the exit of the Schumacher S's as well, and he's gone back to the pits. So Mats Borg Anderson leads this race. Then it's Jack Johns, then it's Mikey Doble and Michael Blake. Michael's still on for some good points here. He doesn't need to lose his head in getting past Doble. You can sense that potentially some of the attacking driving from Mikey Doble in the first race could get anybody riled up. Tim Cox, the biggest mover in the field so far. He's gained 5 places, up into 11th. Good stuff from Tim. Sakovic still in 15th. Whoa, drifting together there. Mark Woodhouse came together with Tim Cox in the first race, so he's not going to want to do that again. Sakovic just trying to make his way through after starting in the pit lane. So it's 11 laps here, so plenty of time for the drivers to get everything they need to get done. Here's Anderson up the hill. Healthy gap over Jack Johns at the moment, 0.6 of a second. Stephen King up into 5th place. I say up, he's actually only where he started. The top 7 are all currently where they started, except for Mats Borg Anderson and Michael Blake, who have just swapped positions. Mats Borg Anderson has gained 3, Michael Blake has dropped 3. Everybody else in the top 7 where they started. John Bailiff has gone from 10th up to 8th. And Carl Jacquelet has now got ahead of Donny Alpha Henriksen after potentially a slowdown for Donny. He might have even got that from the Schumacher S's, you know. Let's Bailiff go through. Bennyworth isn't quite having the same treatment. Whoa, plenty of curb though, and Bennyworth says, all right then, thanks mate. I think Donny has to serve that slowdown even more drastically than first imagined. He's lost a lot of ground. Woodhouse has gone through past Gould. Who's that off? That's Scott Malcolm. Takes all the cones with him. Big drifteroo into the final corner. Loses a place to Magic Sakovic. What on earth happened to Scott? So Woodhouse goes off, goes left. Oh, and Tim just moves over. Big lively moment from Scott Malcolm. Manages to come back on. And Mats Borg Anderson has just gone off the circuit for a moment, so he might have lost a little bit of ground there to Jack Johns. Certainly looks like it from here. Headlights not really ablaze yet, but they will be soon, I imagine. Still quite a long way to go in this race. You've got to love how hard these things rev. By the way, Stephen King has got ahead of Michael Blake for 4th place. Let's see how he did that. Oh, just gets a nice run out of the final chicane, down the inside into the last corner. Turn 15 is mine, he says. Through he goes. Whoa. Some of these drivers are very brave cutting the noses off other drivers around them, but then again, they probably drive with a spotter, which tells them whether there's an overlap or not, and whether it is safe. Donnie Henriksen is trying to get past Michael Ellett, who has gained 4 places. He is the joint biggest mover in the field with Tim Cox, who, despite losing a place to Mark Woodhouse, has still gained 4 spots from where he started. Behind, Sakovic is trying to get past Schill. And does. Lovely stuff around the outside there by championship leader Sakovic. He is on a mission. Well and truly on a mission. Someone else that's on a mission is John Bailiff trying to get past Carl Jacquelet. Carl is fighting that tooth and nail. They both go a little bit too hot and both pay some sort of price for it. Jacquelet has to give way to John Bailiff, but John doesn't really get a good run out of there himself. And now Bennyworth is going to go past Jacquelet as well, you'd imagine. Or is he? He has to hold the inside line. Nearly runs him out of room down the straight. Now just don't move over on each other, boys. That's all I ask of you. Don't move over on each other. Thank you. Change for the lead. Mats Borg Anderson and Jack Johns. Oh, bit of kissing on the exit. There's more room than that, Jack. There's more track out there to the outside. Look at that. It was almost identical as they go into there. Complete silhouette of one another. Through turn 4. Gives him a big hip check there. Flipping heck. Don't know how wide he thinks this circuit is, but it's wider than that. Mikey Doble ready to prey on either of these guys if they get it wrong. Lights come on all in unison. It's almost like the sim does it for you. Doble climbing around all over the back of Jack Johns. He needs to leave more room than that. Jack proving a point here by really not leaving a lot on the outside of corners. Mats Borg Anderson squeezes him to the inside. He's still in there for this. He's still somehow in the fight for the lead here. They continue to be side by side. What we call the event viewer in the timing software I'm using is just filled with black and then white squares as they keep swapping and swapping again. Jack moves over and finally gets in front. Oh my God. Doble tries to go around the outside of Mats Borg Anderson now. Now that's going to play into Jack's hands if these two continue to fight. Doble back down the inside. Gets a really good run. Gets ahead of Mats Borg Anderson, who now has the toe. Brilliant racing again. You've got to love it. The speed of these things down towards the chicane. 220, nearly 225 Ks. Stephen King wants a piece of this as well. His teammate leads the race. The two of them are 2nd and 3rd in the championship. This is a great opportunity for them to get points back on Maciej Sakovic. But the whole top 5 glued together. Doble's got the run on Johns. Johns goes over to the right. Doble tapping the brakes to make sure he doesn't make contact with him. It's all fair game. Brakes a little bit earlier. Tries to set himself up. It's nice and stuttery, isn't it? Still nothing yet, though. But look at them clambering around all over the place. Someone needs to pit soon just to settle it all down. They're all pushing each other around turn 2. Michael Blake is back in the mix as well. Started on pole. Lost a couple of spots, but now he's right back in this fight. Oh, that was close. I was holding my breath there. Really holding my breath. Sakovic is stuck behind his teammate Mark Woodhouse, by the way. He's not been able to make much progress since he got to 12th position. Also got John Bailiff and Ben Bennyworth very close together. A little bit behind this. Carl Jacquelet in there with them. Michael Ellett and Mark Woodhouse are two that are really fighting tooth and nail. More contact. Ellett still holds on. There's your lead battle then. Jack Johns has 3/10 over Doble, 3/10 over Anderson, 3/10 over King, 2/10 over Michael Blake. All of them covered by 1.25 seconds. Some of the lighting looks really good on these at the moment, I think. Very tasty indeed. Oh, Mats Borg Anderson looks down the inside of Doble. Nothing though. Nothing for him to gain from that. Zach Goulder's unfortunately having a bit of a tough time this evening. He's had a couple of offs in the last lap or so. And then he's got this rabble bearing down on him nearly at the halfway point of the race. I can't believe that already. Doble tries to get a cut back on Jack Johns, gives him a bit of a push. Are they going to go for the pit lane? No, they're not. Michael Blake does, though. He says, stuff this. I'm going to get an early stop and try and get an undercut on some of you guys. Got Jerry Agard in the chat. I can't get my words out. It's too much to look at. Jack Johns then leads him again. Great to see you in the chat as well, Kieran. Hope you're well, mate. It's a shame you can't be here on track with us tonight. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact between Jack and Mikey. I think, has that broken something on Mikey's car? It really didn't do him any favours either way. Stephen King now up to third. Mats Borg Anderson up to second. Let's have a look at Mikey's car. Is it broken? Look like it there. See where it goes turning right. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to turn right at all, does it? I mean, it's an understeer wagon at the best of times, but yeah, that didn't look friendly, let's say. So, pit stops on your left-hand side then. Jack Collette, the highest place of those that have pitted, ahead of Mark Woodhouse. Maciej Sakovic, third. So he's not really gained much in the pit stops either. It's going to have to all be done on pace by Maciej Sakovic. We're into the second half of the race now. Doble down the inside of King. Nice late move from him, but that's what you'd expect from a real racing driver. Kissing wing mirrors all the way around the Dunlop hairpin. That's fantastic. Very feisty stuff from these drivers. Stephen's taken a much more reserved approach to his last couple of races, and it's been great to see, especially from an organiser's perspective as well. He did scare me a bit at points, but while it was dramatic and exciting to watch, you know, Stephen has just dialed it back a little bit, and he's just got this fantastic pace now. He just rises to the top of the field. He's got a much cleaner car than we're used to seeing him in. So hats off to you, Stephen, mate. Love you. But what a great top four we've got here. Two of them race for Team Mood Springs. The other two weren't here at the start of the championship. They were subbed in. Mats Borg Anderson replaced Kenny Mitchell. Mikey Doble replaced Ben Hoffman. Now the traffic jam makes its way out of the final chicane. Jack Johns comes into the pits. Hands the lead over to Mats Borg Anderson. Stephen King hands second place to Mikey Doble. They continue on. So where is Jack Collette in all this? He's just coming into the final sector now. Fastest pit stop so far is by Jack Collette, 11.2 seconds. Ben Bennyworth and Donnie Henriksen in the pits as well. Doble has sent it down the inside, and he's not going to benefit in the long run from that one. Stephen King just trying to find a way through. Nothing on the menu for him there. Jack Johns has completed his stop. Or has he? Craig Schill's in as well. It's a long stop for Jack Johns. 16 seconds. 5 seconds more than Carl Jacquelette. Where is Carl? That is a long stop for Jack. Still comes out in the lead of those that have pitted. What about the drivers a little bit further back? Bennyworth has been overtaken by Sakovic. And of course Henriksen comes out in front of him. But that was a long stop for Jack Johns, 16.3 seconds. The only drivers that have gone over that are Donnie Henriksen and Ben Bennyworth, 16.9 and 17.4 between them. Michael Blake's pit stop was 57 seconds. That, to me, says that he's been done for speeding, because it would have been about 17 seconds. And you get 40 for speeding in the pits. So I think Michael has unfortunately gone in a little bit too hot there, and he's ruined his race with that, because he should have been out where Jack Johns is right now. But currently, Michael is some 43 seconds off him, I'm afraid. But these three are really intriguing me now, because I'm wondering where on earth are they going to come out in comparison to Jack Johns. Doble is so good on the brakes. Well, I'd say that. He's a bit too good on the brakes for his own good there. He's gone a bit too slowly into there. Now, are they going to take to the pits? Mats Borg Anderson does. Stephen King does. And let's see what Doble can do without cars around him to slow him down. John Bailiff is next up. He's in the pits as well. Michael Elliott also. Tim Cox continues. He's gained 10 places so far He's going to have gained 14 as he crosses the line now. Great recovery drive this from Tim Cox, to be fair. Started last on the grid for this one, finished the first race last. Now, let's try and show you this. So the number 1, no, that's Jack Johns. We need those two. Jack Johns is the number 7. The number 3 is Mats Borg Andersen. It looks to me like Jack has got this in the bag. Or has he? They're side by side into turn 1. Yes, Jack is later. Or has he overdone it? Mats Borg Andersen comes. What has happened there? Oh no, something has happened to Mats Borg Andersen. And it has gone to Park Magic. Sakovic is ahead of Stephen King. So is Mark Woodhouse. Stephen King's pit stop 17 seconds. Magic's was 15. Wow. Sakovic and Woodhouse and Jack Alette have really, really hopped up to this. The battling for the other guys has held them up so much. That's really what it's down to, isn't it? The other guys have just got the pit stops done early, and another entire lap of battling for these guys has completely ruined it. I have no idea what's happened to Mats Borg Andersen, but the car, as soon as he left the pits, just went straight on. Let's have a look. I don't know what's happened there. Well, of course, we hope everything's okay with Mats Borg Andersen. You never know what it could be when you see something like that, whether it's a hardware failure, whether his VR has died, whether his screen's died, whatever he's racing in. But, of course, could be something in the real world around him as well, not just in the sim, so we do hope everything's all right. But that's a real shame, because Mats Borg Andersen was flying in this race. It was so entertaining. Now, we need to look at these two now. So Mikey Doble is the blue, the dark blue number 1 dot, and the one that's just gone yellow is Jack Johns, car 3. Jack Johns' pit stop was 16.3 seconds. So we'll have to see what Mikey's is. It's counting now. He's been in the pits for 5 seconds as of now. And to me, that looks like Jack Johns is going to breeze through. Wow. He's absolutely flown by. And Mikey's pit stop is taking a lot longer than planned as well. 22 seconds for Mikey Doble. He's come out way further down than he wanted to as well. So that means now Jack Johns leads the race. Carl Jackalette is up into second with an 11.25 second pit stop. That's some 3 seconds quicker than anybody else. Mark Woodhouse was 14 seconds. Magic Sakovic was 15. But importantly for Magic, he's ahead of Stephen King in this race right now. Stephen had a 17.6 second pit stop. Henriksen is 6th, where he started. Bailiff is 7th. Bennyworth is just behind him in 8th position. There he is. Mikey Doble down to 9th. And Scott Malcolm rounding out your top 10 at the moment. We've had one first-time winner this evening. We had 2 last time out at Spa Francorchamps. Morgan Butler and John Bailiff. Are we potentially going to get first-time winners again here at the Nurburgring? We've already had Michael Blake take his debut win. What can Carl Jackalette do to hold on ahead of Mark Woodhouse? Anyone that's raced Carl will know he's a fierce defender. But anyone that's raced Mark Woodhouse will know he's a very, very clean fighter when it comes to his racing. I've had some fantastic battles in the past with Mark Woodhouse. The stud muffin, as he's known at Team Mad. He's taking a very strange line there. Now, is he letting Sakovic through? That, to me, says that he is. I'm not sure if that was a slowdown or anything, but he lets Sakovic through up into 3rd place. Now, these guys are teammates at Team Mad. Outside of this league. And Sakovic is already past Jackalette. How did he do that? Just got a magical run out the final corner. Carl says not on your life, though. Gets a great run around the outside. Oh, and apologies. It looks like Has the sim completely crashed? It does. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah, iRacing has just completely crashed. I'm so sorry. Oh, for God's sake. No. Not now, iRacing. Oh, for God's sake. Well, I've never had that happen before. If it's not my internet, it's something else, isn't it? Right, bear with me, everybody. I'm going to try to get back in the sim as soon as possible. Loading in now. Anyone that's watching that's in the race, please save a replay. Right, I'll be back in just a second, everybody. Sorry about that. Now we need to start putting bets on for what has changed when we get in, eh? Let's have a look. 60% loaded in now, everybody, so it shouldn't be too long. Now 75. Anyone that knows iRacing will know that it sits on 75 for ages. Although I say that, 90. Now, interestingly, I've just asked in the Discord if anyone can save the replay, and Carl Jacquelet is just very quickly typing in the chat, which to me says that he's been a victim of an incident of some sort after we just cut away from him. Okay, we're in. Let's see what happens. Are we in? Do we have cars? Yes, we do. We need to just sort the audio out because for some reason it's not coming through the right thing. We have cars. We have racing, and we're on the final lap of the race then in round 12. Oh, a bit of a touch there from Bailiff. It's Jack Johns that still leads the way. Magic Sakovic is second. Mark Woodhouse is third, and Carl Jacquelet is down in 14th place. And Carl has put in the chat, thanks Mark, great move. So I'm not quite sure that it was Magic that did anything, but more Mark Woodhouse. So we'll have to get the replay saved and have a look. But either way, Stephen King is in fourth, right behind these guys now. Mikey Doble is only just ahead of John Bailiff, but Jack Johns is at the top of the standings. And he's going to finally, by the look of it, I'm going to touch wood right now, be the only Team Mood Springs driver to win a race so far. They've been knocking on the door for so long of these pairs. Stephen King and Jack Johns have been so fast all season. But they just haven't managed to take a win yet. I think Stephen got a second and a third. John's got a second and 2/3 up to now. But into the final chicane, he's taking it nice and steady, and would you blame him? I wouldn't. Jack Johns mounts the curb, uses all of the road. Hard onto the brakes, into the final corner, and round 12 goes to car 12. It's Jack Johns for Team Mood Springs, winner in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. Brilliant stuff, mate. Magic Sakovic gets second ahead of Stephen King, who overtakes Mark Woodhouse right at the end. Mikey Doble gets ahead of Henriksen and Bailiff at the end as well. Wow. Scott Malcolm is going to finish in 8th place. Tim Cox comes around the final corner in 9th. And Craig Schill is going to round out the top 10. Wow, oh wow. Let's start that again. Jack Johns, though. What a drive. What a drive indeed. Let's have a look what happened with Mikey Doble and John Bailiff then. So this was earlier actually in the lap. So Tim Cox passed Craig Schill not long after this. Gets a good run out of there. Mikey Doble past John Bailiff and then Donnie Henriksen. Wow. Fair play. And then he passed Donnie Henriksen right at the end. Oh, it's another lovely move down the inside, which forces Donnie into a wide move. And Stephen King got past Mark Woodhouse as well into the final chicane. We'll keep an eye on this and see how this materialised. And it is a real shame, isn't it, Kieran? Carl was absolutely flying. Oh, I think Mark got a slow down there for jumping the curb. Yeah, he must have done. Yeah, he's got a slow down. That's a real shame. But Jack Johns takes the win. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Well done to Jack. A great drive indeed. Now, we're not going to have long of that race to go back to, unfortunately. So just bear with it a second. Because we need to get the sim back to where we were up to. So, let's get our results up, shall we? That's the Heat 1 result, Chaz. Jack Johns takes the win in round 12. Maciej Sakovic gets an important second place and Stephen King is third. That's the top 3 in the championship coming into this meeting. Top 3 leaving it as well. Mark Woodhouse is 4th ahead of Mikey Doble. Donnie Henriksen finishes in 6th. John Bailiff is 7th. And Scott Malcolm gets a well-deserved 8th place. Tim Cox recovers to 9th after finishing at the bottom in race 1. Craig Schill is 10th ahead of Michael Elliott. Michael Blake, unfortunately, half a second off Michael Elliott at the very end there. Zach Gould is 1 lap down. Carl Jackalette 2 laps down. Same for Ben Bennyworth and Mats Borg Anderson as well. And of course Morgan Butler not starting that race. But somebody who I know is going to be very, very pleased, not really for the first one, but for the second one, if he bears with me 1 second, just because I need to change my outputs on Discord. Michael Blake joins me in the chat. Michael, the second race may not have gone very much to plan there at the end, but you must be still absolutely beaming after that first win.
Yeah, it was a good moment. Been trying for that all season, but yeah, it was a bit of a case of 0 to 0 in that one. I didn't realise that there was a rule that you had to have cleared a slowdown before crossing the line for pit lane.
Oh, right.
So I picked up a slowdown and decided, right, well, I'll pit this lap instead of next and serve the slowdown as I'm going in.
Yeah.
As I crossed the yellow cones, I had 0.1 of the slowdown left, so it gave me a 41-second stop and hold.
Oh, no.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know either. I've never heard of that, but oh man, that's really unlucky though. But that first race, you know, it was a feisty one, but at the same time, you know, to come out on top, you must have been really, really chuffed.
Yeah, I knew I had to get a good start if I was going to have any chance, and for once it just sort of hooked up, and yeah, it was a bit physical, but it is what it is, and yeah, glad I could finally pick up the win. I've been, like I said, I've had horrible results this season, but in pace-wise in practice and qualifying, I've been between 3rd and 7th fastest in every meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like, I think that's my 4th finish of the season, 5th maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's it. I was saying at the top of the broadcast, you know, you're probably one of the most unlucky sim races I've ever commentated on, really, because you have all this pace and then something somewhere will go wrong in one of the races. But I was honestly really, really chuffed. I must admit, not to sort of scare any other drivers with them thinking I'm biased towards anybody, but I really did punch the air for you when you crossed the line to take that win. It was really good to see, mate. And it's not really an easy track to navigate this car around, is it? It's not really a front-wheel drive friendly circuit, the Nurburgring. No,
I quite enjoy the track, but with the different layout of the final chicane.
Yeah.
I really don't enjoy that layout. It's really not my cup of tea. I think the series organizer needs a talking to.
Yeah, he does, definitely. Sounds like an idiot to me.
But it's one of those tracks in front wheel drive, though. It sort of evens the playing field a bit because it's so difficult for the car. It gaps between drivers with really good pace and mediocre pace. The difference is much smaller.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been interesting to see that, you know, every single meeting we seem to have different results each time. We've got, 8 race winners from 12 races now, so it really shows how sort of diverse this championship can be in terms of results. Now, has that spurred you on to go and get more wins like that now that you know you've got it under your belt? And especially in the first race as well. You know, it's very difficult to do at the start of the night in a shorter race.
Yeah, certainly. It's given me sort of a bit of mojo back because I was getting a bit disheartened with it all. But so it was good. So hopefully I can sort of keep improving and stop making silly mistakes and maybe read the iRacing rulebook, and I'll have better fortune in the second races.
Well, my fingers are crossed for you, Michael. But before I let you go, mate, are you going to give anybody a quick shout out?
You, for all the work you do in this series,
Nice
apart
one.
from the track variation tonight.
I'll take that.
Everybody at Team Mad, and everybody in this series for making it fun.
Lovely stuff. Very well done, Michael. Great to see you get that first win, mate, and I look forward to seeing you get another one very soon.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Great stuff. Great stuff from Michael Blake. And we go from one race winner to another race winner, another guy that's been knocking on the door for a very, very long time. He's probably got blood on his knuckles by now for how long he's been knocking on it. Jack, you must be so pleased, mate. It looked like that race almost wasn't going to come your way because the pit stop was a lot longer than everybody else's, but you still managed to pull it off. Tell me how you're feeling.
So we done it! I said last time, 2 weeks ago, my target was a race win this season at some point, and it's mixed feelings actually. I can't be disappointed with it. It's a lot of points today, and I'm not sure Nurburgring's up there was up there on my list until today because fastest in practice, pole position, nearly a win in the sprint, but you can't take it away from. I mean, I was under pressure from Mikey at the same time as trying to attack Michael Blake, but Michael deserves a win as well because he's been in the wars a few times I think so far this season. So congrats to him. And then, like you said, I didn't know my stop was slower than everyone else's, though. I just thought, because I only took 2 tyres as well.
I don't know what it was, but you're about 2 seconds off the guys behind you. I mean, Carl Jacquelette's stop was nearly just over 11 seconds. Majek and Mark were in the 14s and 15s. Yours was like 16.9 or something. But still, you still got the win in the end, so I suppose that's what matters. I mean, almost a perfect evening, though, really. I mean, second place in the first race, like you say, pole position, despite the reverse grid, still getting that second and then taking a win. You can't really beat that, can you?
No, there's only one extra position to gain, and to be honest, with how close the racing is and the way sort of the event's structured, it's unlike. Well, we've seen it. I think someone's done a Grand Slam already, but I don't know if I'll beat a whole weekend like this. I could probably match it, maybe. We'll see what some of the tracks are coming up, but. Yeah, happy with this. Can't complain at all, and good racing for everyone. Mikey's something else for sure. I remember racing him at Zolder. And, you can tell he races cars in real life. You just know.
Yeah, he hurls them around, doesn't he? He's very exciting to watch. Yeah. But no, it was great fun to watch the pair of you battling. You know, you're two of the most exciting drivers to watch in the series, and it's great to have you battling on track together. It's awesome entertainment, but. A fantastic night for your championship, of course. And before I let you go and enjoy the moment, do you want to give anybody a quick shout out, mate?
Yeah. Well, shout out to Mikey. Let's see if we have some more close battles that we both survive for the next couple of weeks. Michael Blake, congrats to him. Thanks to you, Chaz, for putting it on as usual. And I must say, actually, this time I've got to say, shout out. I'll dedicate this win to my mum, who I think has been watching the last couple of races. So, hi, Mum.
Mummy Johns.
Mummy Johns.
Love it. Smashing. Well, very well done, mate. I was really pleased to see you get that one. Like I said, you've been knocking on that door for a long, long time. There's almost no door handle left now. So you go and enjoy yourself, mate. Well done, and I'll see you again very, very soon.
Thanks, Chaz. See you soon.
Cheers. And I tell you what, we'll drag in somebody else that was completely in the wars tonight, but I bet he's absolutely loving it. Mikey, first off, congratulations on your successes in the real world of motorsport this past weekend. Great to see.
Oh.
But
cheers, mate.
You must be absolutely loving tonight. That was proper touring car racing for you.
Yeah, that was great fun. Yeah, I love these cars because you can actually race really hard and they can take a bit of a beating and you're not going to put yourself out of the race. There's some really quick guys in this, so it amounted to some close racing throughout the night, really. Yeah, there was plenty of spills out there, but I think that's what you come to expect in this type of racing. I don't think anything was ever intentional from anyone.
No.
But yeah, it was great fun.
And what do you make of the track in these cars? I mean, I was saying to Michael Blake a moment ago that it's not really a combination you expect, especially with the Formula 1 style chicane at the end of it, because normally everyone does the Endurance Series chicanes, but it's not front-wheel drive friendly, but it seemed like quite a good laugh to get the car around. What did you make of it?
I thought it was pretty good fun. I mean, there are a lot of traction zones where you're coming out of corners and you're getting understeer when you're trying to straighten the wheel up, but I don't know, I quite enjoyed sending the car on 2 wheels over that last chicane every time. Proper touring car action.
Certainly looked like it, mate. And I mean, you're a fan of a switchback as well, aren't you? The amount of people that you overtook by sort of being on the outside, then hurling the car down the inside, it seemed to be like your signature move this evening. Were you keeping count of how many of them you did?
All I was just thinking was just go forward. I just didn't want to waste any time. I was just like, next corner, right, make a move. I just thought, I'm not really in a shout for a championship in this. It's only my second round, so if it doesn't pay off, it doesn't pay off, but what the heck, I'm going for it.
Well, it's a good racing driver mentality, mate. And talk to me about your real world successes as well. I mean, you've had plenty of silverware the past weekend, I've seen. What do you think's been the secret to that, or is it just, do you think, a turn in fortune? Is there anything you've done to sort of unlock that?
Well, I'm finally. It's just the whole package in that series now is just starting to click with us. I mean, we're really getting the car on song, getting it handling good, and me and the guys have got the car. Just the whole car, the engine, the handling is getting everything right, really, and just learning how to get the absolute most out of the car. And I think coming from the Ginetta and running with a sort of a semi-professional race team as such, and seeing how they progress throughout test days and how they develop me as a driver and cars, you can take that across to the compacts back into club racing and just kind of accelerate the improvement of our pace, throughout the weekend. So I think that coming from a series like the GT5s and coming back into the compacts has probably made me a bit quicker in that as well.
Yeah, well, it's been great to see, mate. It's always good to see friends having their successes in multiple categories as well, like you say. So very well done, mate. And before we let you go this evening, do you want to give a quick shout out to anybody?
I'm not sure if there's anyone watching me tonight, but if you are, yeah, hi to my mum and dad and brothers if they're watching. If not, thanks to you for broadcasting the event, and hopefully I'll be back for future round. It was really good fun.
Awesome. Glad you're enjoying yourself, mate. Great to speak to you again, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, Chaz.
Cheers. Mikey Doble there, as mentioned, doing really, really well in the BMW Compact Cup this year, and he's racing in the Ginetta GT5 Challenge as well. So, another race evening is complete in the Chaz Draycott Media European Touring Car Championship. 2 new race winners on the board. Michael Blake takes the win in the sprint race after a very, very strong battle with Jack Johns and, of course, Mikey Doble himself. And then the former takes the win in the feature race. Jack Johns finally gets that first race win for Team Mood Springs this season and chalks some more points on the board. With his teammate getting a podium, Sakovic another strong performance in that feature race. But for now, that is all here on Chaz Draycott Media for tonight in rounds 11 and 12 from the Nurburgring. Join us in 2 weeks' time where we'll be taking on rounds 13 and 14 at the very new and very exciting Hockenheimring. As for now, though, my name is Chaz Draycott. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Good night.